Silly me. New microphone, forgot to use it. We'll see if it makes a difference in the actual final product when I started using it just now. Anyway, these pieces of your brain, the parts that are doing these other functions, they're simply feeding those pieces of information to the PFC, the prefrontal cortex, the man in charge. Executive functioning is where, okay, I'm struggling obviously with my mouse here. Executive functioning is where we create, make, return emotions and feelings and ideas that are in the ether into concrete words and sentences. This is where we have thoughts. This is where we take the input that's been given to us, the analysis of that input, and we decide what to do with it. This is decision making, right? That is goal-oriented work requires concentration. And that's what the prefrontal cortex, the PFC, does. It keeps you focused, right? And it also is doing logical thinking, again, all those other executive functioning. It's also responsible for using willpower to override impulses, right? So when we get tired and the prefrontal cortex gets taxed, it gets overloaded, can't do those jobs. We stop making good decisions. We become impulsive. We have a harder time just thinking coherent thoughts. It's all kinds of stuff happens, and taking a break is proven. Just like it gives your muscles a rest, it gives your brain a rest, right? So this is about making sure you're taking care of you, not working too hard, taking a break when it's deserved and when it's needed. Now, one thing that's really needed that we forget sometimes are movement breaks. They say sitting is the new smoking, is what I've heard, right? That the sitting, and most of us face facts. If you've got a job where you're in a cube, you're sitting, looking at a computer most of the time, you have to make time to get up and move around. It's essential to your health. Taking brief breaks, it's well researched. It's not even a question anymore, right? Constant sitting gives you a higher risk of heart disease, depression, obesity, I mean, all kinds of badness. Getting up from your desk, on the other hand, to watch, stretch, whatever, reduces these negative impacts. And just as much as 5 minutes every hour, 5 minutes an hour of standing up and stretching, moving around, rolling your neck. Maybe you're taking a little sprint somewhere, but can improve your health and well-being. And breaks prevent decision fatigue. We already talked about the judges, right? Taking breaks helps you avoid decision fatigue and avoid procrastination. Gives you more better able to just jump in and get her done. It breaks restore motivation, right? They help you take that pause. Go back and collect your thoughts. Remember the big why. We talked about that yesterday. Remembering why you're doing things, because everything we do requires some part of it that we maybe is not our favorite part. But remembering the big why is how we get through that, right? A small study even suggests that prolonged attention to a single task hinders performance, right? That long attention is actually hurting you, and you are not performing as well at doing whatever task it is you're doing as if you were taking those short breaks. So they increase productivity and creativity. The same part of our brain that is working, I use the word creating, right? Making thoughts, making decisions, creating thoughts, creating decisions is the part of our brain that offers up new ideas. It's the creative part of our brain. If it's working, there's no time to think about new ideas. So when you take a break, it's important that when we take a break, we do things that don't involve executive functioning. This is the relaxing. This is sitting next to the workplace with your bottle of water, taking that break so your muscles, or in this case, your brain, can relax, can have a break, can let go of what it was doing, settle, center, take a deep breath, and refresh to start again, right? Well, in addition, there's even more than that. We've talked about on this show before, science shows that sleeping is that's when our brain reorganizes things, right? We takes everything that happened that day and tries to put it in some semblance of sense, some semblance of order. And so I think of it in my brain like the filing cabinet, right? At night, everyone has brought in the files from the day, and at night, the file clerk is putting them all into the right order so that we can find them again. Well, it turns out that waking rest, or resting, or doing something that doesn't involve prefrontal cortex thinking, consolidates memories and improves learning. It's doing the same job that sleep is doing at night. It's helping your brain organize your thoughts so that they are easily retrievable. Downtime replenishes attention and motivation, right? It offers respite. Now, there are times when not to take a break, right? Sometimes when you're in the flow, sometimes if everything is on go and you're just in the midst of genius, when you've taken the time and effort to swim down to a level of detail that you didn't get to immediately, right? When you are immersed in a problem, that's not the time to take a break, right? We got to take the breaks when it makes sense. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you're firing on all cylinders, keep going. It's when we start recognizing that we're not following on all cylinders, or enough time has gone by that we're pretty sure we're not falling on all cylinders, that we think about breaks. So what makes a good break? Well, again, it's one that gives the goal-oriented, intellectual thinking, decision-making processing part of your brain, the PFC, a break. So you don't want to take your break and then go balance your checkbook, or I don't know if anybody does that anymore, but you don't want to go solve a different problem. You want to give that problem solving part of your brain a break. So you want to do activities that are kind of the opposite of thinking and give you the chance to recharge and refresh. So walking, exercising are proven ways. Many famous artists also talk about their writing, right? Many famous artists talk about their walks and how walking improves their writing. But just small exercise, just that 5 minutes, right? Stretching, that's exercise too. But doing something that's moving, that's physical. Read about in a book report on that'll have to be a show next week on the F Your Feelings book, where he says he broke the myth that our emotions come from what we're thinking. Our emotions are the byproduct of what our body is processing, right? And then how we react to our emotions, that's when our brain gets involved. So when we go into nature, we're changing the sensory inputs that are driving and creating the emotions that then drive and create our thoughts. Getting down to the root problem, right? Connect with nature. Nature is a great way to take a break and kind of supercharge your break, right? Looking at greenery, looking at plants, looking at the sky gives you calmness and peace. Walking on a nature path induces a calm state of mind. If you're looking, so here's kind of the deal. If you're and you need to relax, there's a fly in here bothering me. You need to relax and get calm, go on a nature walk. If you're feeling slumped down and you need a little pump up and encouragement, go walk in the city where there is lots of action, things going around you. Get your blood pumping, get you all inspired. Or maybe that you don't need to be pumped up right now. Maybe you need to be calmed and relaxed. A few moments in nature. Like I said, sucking up the green, staring at the sky, watching the ocean, whatever you can get to is your friend there for that break. But the truth is just changing your environment. Sometimes getting out of your cube, getting out of your office, doing your work on your laptop from someplace else. Just changing your environment can really serve to give your brain a rest, switch gears, give it a new perspective. Break lunch. Lunch is your break, right? Don't work through lunch. Take a lunch break. You need a break. And the okay, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I got a notice on Facebook and it said my video was just starting. Like we've been on 15 minutes. Anyway, taking the lunch break. the privilege of an hour or a half an hour that you get to feed the furnace, right? Put some fuel in the furnace, a little healthy lunch, healthy snack. Eat the right things, or your afternoon may suffer, right? But it's also a break. You're thinking about eating. You're reading a book. You're talking to friends. You're enjoying the nature outside while you eat your sandwich. You're taking a break. It's a twofer. Fuel in the furnace, giving the mind a break. And if it's possible, okay, this fly's bugging. If it's possible, take a power nap. Now, again, not always possible at work, but if you can, evidence shows that short power naps have amazing productivity and relaxation benefits. Studies suggest you can be more alert, have less stress, improve your cognitive functioning with a short nap, 20 minutes, no more than 20 minutes. Move past 20 minutes, you move into deep REM sleep, and now it's hard to wake up and get back to work. A short 20-minute, you don't even have to sleep. Honestly, if you could just close your eyes and go internally in your mind and leave your surroundings for that 20 minutes, you don't have to sleep. Resting is what it's about. Take some deep breaths. Resting, changing your mind, giving your prefrontal cortex a break. Do a few deep breaths, right? They don't call a rest taking a breather for nothing. When we're working, we're breathing at a shallow pattern. It's just natural. You can't help yourself, right? You're breathing at a shallow pattern, and that's just the way it is. When you're taking the break, you need to breathe deep. You need to break that shallow pattern. You need to bring some oxygen into your lungs and expel those other things in a purposeful and deep-seated way. Just do 10 deep breaths. It doesn't have to take a long time, right? You can meditate. Honestly, meditation doesn't, we think of meditation as I got to be in the room, the incense got to be burning, I got to be in the right position, a little chanting, a little music. The truth is there's a 5-minute meditation. I've done it in the stall in the restroom at work. Or hung up a sign at my cube and said, please don't disturb, and turned my back to the opening so that I could just put in some headphones. 5 minutes, just going inside. This is your nap, right? It doesn't have to be 20 minutes. Maybe it's just 5 minutes. That's okay. Meditate, daydream, let your imagination go. Give daydreaming happens someplace else, not the prefrontal cortex. Give it a break. Go daydream about go to your happy place, your mystery world, wherever you like to go in your mind for a break. Give the working guy a break, and then get creative. When you're using your thinking brain in your break time, maybe you'd like to draw a little picture, do a little doodle, slap some paint on a rock. Creativity is always good for us. It's always good for relaxing the thinking parts of the brain. And then finally, drinking coffee or tea. Now, study shows every day there's benefits, fun, and pleasure for sipping coffee. It can be a mindful pleasure in itself, and for productivity purposes, well, coffee's unparalleled. When the caffeine kicks in, no task you can't conquer. But can't drink too much, right? It's just like anything, all things in moderation. But this is a coffee break, right? This is where you're going to get a little rest for the brain and a little jolt of the caffeine, and be ready to get back at it. Now, when you can't take a break, sometimes it's just not going to happen. So what can you do? Well, switch tasks. Sometimes you just can work on something for so long, and your brain, you're bogged. So if you can't stop working, switch tasks, switch ideas that you're thinking about, switch problems that you're solving. This gives your brain a little bit of a break, right? It can feel like a break in because it's slightly different than what you were doing before. And so it's or take a break that involves talking to someone. Maybe you're doing work by yourself at your spreadsheet at your desk, and you're all by yourself. So take a break, but you need a consult, and instead of sending an email, get up and walk over to your colleague's desk and have a face-to-face 5-minute conversation. Still working, but kind of a break, right? And then And then watch yourself as you take breaks. Be mindful of what kinds of breaks give you the best results. Of again, what are you looking for in the break? Do you need to be calmed down and stress and give the working brain a little moment, or do you need to be pumped up and invigorated and you need a little action? The kind of what you need may determine the kind of break you take. But that is the discussion, is just take the break, right? Don't be the guy that says, I'm not taking a break. I'm going to work through. I used to be a manager. I had people that worked for me that didn't take breaks. And I think they thought, or work late hours. And I think they thought that that would be seen as dedication. But once you know the facts, you understand you're not helping the team. You get irritable. When we get stressed, we get less friendly, less kind, less considerate, less compassion. It's just the facts of what's happening in your brain. Good. Hey, Debbie. Oh, 10:20. Something's up with the time clock, because here it is. Oh, no, it is 10:20. Oh, I'm the one who's messed up. Okay, never mind. Anyway, this is about taking a break. Don't short yourself. Take the break. Your brain needs it. And it's amazing to me, like I said, in my years in the workforce, the number of people who literally never took breaks, and looked at those that did take breaks like they were slacking. And I'm just saying, take the break. It's important. If your goal is to be a good, productive worker, if your goal is to get the things done on your list, if your goal is to not feel exhausted at the end of your day after completing all the things on your list, then you build into your day the short breaks that make the difference, that recharge, re-energize, and keep you going. For years, I was a waitress. Back in the day when everybody smoked, because I'm old, and everybody smoked, and everybody took smoke breaks. You'd say, "Where's so and so?" Smoke break. Everybody hang out a little spot in the very back of the kitchen. So I would take a break, and they would see, like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm taking my non-smoking break." I never smoked cigarettes, but what, I don't get a break because I don't smoke cigarettes? Heck no. So I would take my break and I would say, this is my non-smoking break. See, I guess I knew inherently back then, it was a sense of fairness then more than productivity. At the tree. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I say I take a non-smoking break because I need the break. You need the break. That's the plan. We are designed for endurance. And yet that endurance is not fly. That endurance is earned or is created through a series of sprints, right? Nobody jumps up and runs the marathon the first day. And even when they run the marathon, there are periods of running fast and periods of refreshing and just jogging to get back your breath so that you have another opportunity to sprint. It's the same in all cases. We could use 100 examples, right? It doesn't matter. It's all the same. And the point here is, don't short yourself by not taking the break. Don't feel as if you're cheating or you're so busy or you have so much to do that you can't afford to take the break. Because the truth is, there's a fly in my room. The truth is, not taking the break probably impacts your productivity because, like I said, impacts your decision making, impacts your ability to hold a critical thought, impacts your ability to analyze complex and competing ideas, right? The more tired your brain is, the less it can do its job. Oh, shocking, right? Oh, big shock. So what do? You work hard, you take a small break. You do need to take more break. I agree. I think we all need to take more breaks during the day. We're all, like I said, we're such a, especially here in America, we're focused so much on a get her done philosophy, right? That I don't know about you. I was kind of raised with the idea that if you weren't doing something productive, you were wasting time. My mom, in my whole life, I never watched her watch television one time that she wasn't And now I get a notification says my live video is starting in 3 minutes. Odd. Anyway, my mom never watched TV, just watched TV. Whenever she did sit down to watch TV, she was crocheting, she was doing crossword puzzles, she was working on the checkbook. I don't know. She just never was allowed herself, it seemed, to rest, to take that break, to do nothing. And so I grew up thinking that doing nothing was a sin, right? It was wasteful. It was lazy. It didn't make any sense. I don't think I'm the only one from that has but that kind of has this going on in their brain sometimes, right? Besides that, we love to beat ourselves up. So not doing anything, nobody says, "Yeah, you did nothing for 10 minutes. Woohoo!" Your brain's not going that way. It's like, "Hey, you bum, aren't there dishes in the sink? Doesn't that dog need to be walked? Don't you have 3 or 4 tasks on that list that need to be done?" That's the brain. That's what we're listening to all the time. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Get it done. Get it done. Get it done. But again, studies show, science proves, it's a fact that keeping on, just slogging through without that refresher is detrimental to you and to the work that you are producing, whether it's cooking dinner, creating spreadsheets, conducting the orchestra, doesn't matter. You're going to struggle if you're not taking the break. So that's the message for today. Take a break. Make it something fun. Make it something you like. Make it something that is not solving a problem or thinking. Taking a break and then going and doing some other work for your personal work is not taking a break. Stand up and stretch your muscles, right? Walk. Walk from one building to the next instead of driving. Or get up and walk to the lunchroom and get yourself a refreshing bottle of water, even though there's probably one closer to you. Maybe the walk is what you need. Get outside and find some grass and just lay down for a minute. 5 minutes laying in the grass is like 30 minutes of some other less restful kinds of exercises. Anyway, that's our message from today. I have no idea what time I'm going to be on tomorrow morning. This is the I'll just show up whenever I feel like it week. So look for the notification. You can always watch me in the replay. Love it if you'd like it. If you like my video, if you think you have a friend who would like to hear this message, love it if you'd share it. Anyway, that's our show for today. Until tomorrow, make it a happy day. Hopefully we'll be without flies.